Hey everybody, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, I decided it's time for me to make another video showing my entire uh, 80s Slashers physical media collection. It's been quite a while, probably over a year since I've done one of these, so I've added quite a few films to my collection here, so I feel like we're getting close to Halloween, so I feel this is a good time to make one of these videos. Now this will be the third time I've made a collection update or like yeah, entire collection video. I figured I'd do it a little differently this time, just because the collection is getting a little bigger and these videos are a little long, so I don't want people, sitting down for over an hour. Because we all know I like to talk a little bit about each of these films, even though I'm going to try to be a little more succinct a little bit. The first time I did this, I kind of just took them off the shelf and I mixed them all up and I just did them random. I didn't know what was coming next, kind of a fun surprise. The second time I did a collection video, I put them in just alphabetical order and I went, uh, you know, from, A to Z kind of thing. For this one, what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to break it into two parts. I'm going to show these in terms of chronological order. So the first film I'll show is the first 80s slasher I have that was released in the 80s, 1980, and we'll go all the way up through 1989 in the release date of each film. So this first video will show the films I have from 1980 to 1983. Um, and then part two, I'll do 1984 to 1989. So there's more years in that video, but there's less films because, 1981 was the peak. There's a lot of films from 1981, so it's about equal. Um, so yeah, so that's what we'll do. Um, Now, like I said, the release dates, some of them are, it's the best that I have. Like I have like a list going like of all the release dates. Some of them don't have an exact date, like just a month or something. So some of them are approximate, but um, for the most part, these are going to be in, chronological order. So I'll do my best. So, all right, all that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So obviously you're looking at Friday the 13th, and as you can see here, I have a few different formats here in this video. Like I've done videos in the past with these collections that were just Blu-ray. I think the last time I did it, I put in some DVDs. I'm just gonna do it all. So whether it's 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, Betamax, anything that I have that's 80s slasher related, I'll throw it in the video here just for fun. So literally my entire collection. So we're starting off with Friday the 13th now. um, Technically, this isn't the first 80s slasher. The first 80s slasher that was, from my perspective, that was released in the 1980s was To All a Good Night, which was released, in January of 1980, whereas, Friday the 13th was May of 1980. But I don't have a copy of To All a Good Night, so um, for this video, the first 80s slasher ever released that I have is Friday the 13th. So as you can see, I have the new 4K release. I have the VHS tape. I have this older copy, which is like, cheap little $10. And this is the one that before I got the upgrade to the 4K, this was my most recent version, this is a case I've made myself. This actually came from this set, so I'll probably show this one every time I get to each of these films. But yeah, this disc is from this set. So, yeah, I don't have to say much about Friday the 13th. We all know what this film is, how much I enjoy it if you're familiar with this channel. So, yeah, Friday the 13th, the first 80s slasher released that I have. All right, so yeah, so that's these films. So let's see what we have next. So up next we have Maniac. So yeah, so these are all 1980. So once we get into 1981, I'll let you know. I'm not going to go over like the specific months and dates. I don't have my little spreadsheet in front of me here, but we're still in 1980. So yeah, Maniac. Again, very very popular film. Everyone knows about this one. Very gritty, very sleazy. Um, just a just a fantastic film. If you haven't checked this out and you like your slashers a little sleazy, um, they don't come much more sleazy than this one. So yeah, so 1980 Maniac. And then up next we have He Knows You're Alone, one of the film debuts of a young Tom Hanks. This is a good film. This is a kind of a um, this was inspired by Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. A lot of these films coming up were inspired by Friday the 13th because, it kind of caught fire. But this was probably being made prior to the breakout success of Friday the 13th. So this is kind of modeled after Halloween. Pretty good film, nothing spectacular, but yeah, like I said, it's young Tom Hanks who's pretty good in it, and yeah, it's pretty good. So decent film. All right, next up we have Prom Night, also from 1980. Of course, this is one of the earlier Jamie Lee Curtis slashers. When she was doing these every year or two, she put out a slasher film in the late 70s, early 80s. And this is one I like. This one, I think a lot of people like this film. Some people don't like it as much. That little Jamie Lee action. I like this film. I like the setting, some good kills, some good chase sequences. Yeah, this is just a classic 80 slasher. All right, still in 1980, we have Terror Train, also Jamie Lee Curtis. So she basically did these Prom Night and Terror Train almost back to back, it seems. Um, yeah, this is like again another classic early 80s slasher. This has a fantastic setting. It's all aboard obviously a train. There's like a costume thing going on where the killer keeps switching masks. He kills someone, takes their costume, so they never know which costume is the killer. It's really fun. It's a good premise. You got a very young David Copperfield in here doing magic. Yeah, this is a unique film. Pretty fun. So yeah, definitely enjoy Terror Train. Up next is a questionable 80s slasher in my opinion, but a lot of people call this an 80s slasher, so there's slasher elements for sure, but it's a little something else. There's some hokey, weird humor in this. It's the chick from Porky's, Ball Breaker, whatever her name is, from Porky's. Um, yeah, this is fun. It's a fun time. It's silly. Um, this was okay. This is not one of my favorites to be honest, but it's okay for what it is. It's kind of an oddball early 80s slasher film, also from 1980. All right, next up we have Nightmare. This is an Australian slasher from 1980. Also goes by the name Stage Fright. Um, yeah, this is the Umbrella Blu-ray release. This is fantastic. It's one of the Ozploitation classic line. Um, Definitely, there's a little stuff on the back there. Definitely a good film. Again, kind of sleazy. It's unique because it has that. It just has that Australian filmmaking feel to it. It feels like if you're familiar with the early, like the 70s and 80s, um, Ozploitation flicks. There's in all kinds of genres. It just has a distinct feel and flavor, and it's really good. Um, Pretty violent, tons of nudity. Like it's kind of a sleazy film. So really like this one. It's good. Definitely check that out. So up next we have Christmas Evil from 1980. Yeah, obviously this is a Christmas horror film, and like I said, it's more of a horror film than a slasher. The kills in this are slasher kills, um, but it's more of a study of mental illness and like the descent into madness kind of thing of a guy dressing as Santa going around killing people. There's not a lot of kills, but it's a good Christmas horror film, well made. Yeah, this is Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. Good film. I enjoyed this. It's a good Christmas watch. It's just not your typical slasher. So, but yeah, really good. And the last film that I have from 1980 is New Year's Evil. Again, a holiday film, not really a Christmas film. It takes place after Christmas, obviously, New Year's Eve. Really cool concept. Different style of slasher because you know who the killer is. You're kind of following the killer around. You see his face, and yeah, he's making a kill as like the time zones as the clock strikes midnight, like New Year's Eve. Or when the New Year comes, in each time zone across the country, he's making a kill, and so that every hour, and he's working his way. I think from like West Coast to East Coast to like New York, or is it New York or L? I don't know. He's working his way across the country and to his primary victim. On like I think it's New York City, but it could be LA. I'm not sure what it says here. I can't remember. Anyway, it's cool. So it's kind of a showdown at the end. Good concept, fun. Again, a really fun holiday film. So yeah, that's the last one I have from 1980. So now we're gonna move on to the big old pile that's 1981. So first up we have, unfortunately, Scream. One of the worst slashers I've ever seen. 80s slashers I've ever seen. This is really cool setting. Kind of like an abandoned ghost town. But there's no kills, there's no blood, there's no nudity, there's no killer, there's no like reveal of a killer, there's no motivation. I had to go online and to see like who was the killer, what was the motivation. It was just a mess. It made no sense. Um, this is like the movie's so bad they have to advertise it with like I think this was an ex like WWE wrestler or something. She's doing like an Elvira thing before and after, and she spoils the movie. This is terrible. This is this is Code Red. Um, Not a good film. I cannot recommend this. Skip this film. I'm glad I have it in my collection because I now I have it and I can talk about it how bad it is. But yeah, not good. So yeah, starting off 1981 with a terrible film, but then the next one released is one of the best in the entire genre. My Bloody Valentine. Obviously, this came out in February of 1981. Um, yeah, this is one of the best of all time. Canadian slasher film, filmed in Nova Scotia. Miners, you know, I'm sure everyone's familiar with this movie. It's one of my favorites. Just the setting alone is fantastic. Scenes deep down in like the coal mine. Um, Great plot, great kills. Just has everything, man. This is one of the best in my opinion. Fantastic, cool cover art. Even this recommissioned stuff is good, but I love the original cover art. Um, yeah, My Bloody Valentine, one of the best. Up next, we have Madhouse. This is kind of like a co-production, like an Italian American co-production. It was made by Italian people, but there's some, I think it was filmed in the United States by an Italian crew, but then there's some American actors. It's kind of a mix. It feels weird, but this is a creepy film, very atmospheric, and takes place in like a decrepit, broken down old house, and there's a crazy person killing people. There's like a dog involved. There's like dog deaths and like death by dog, and there's a lot going on. There's kids getting killed in this film. Creepy people burnt. There's a lot of creepiness in this film. I like this one. Again, it's kind of has that European feel, so almost like a giallo kind of feel to it, but like also slasher. So it's kind of a weird hybrid. Really good though. I like I said, just very creepy, very atmospheric. Really liked Madhouse. Another house we have is the Fun House. Again, terrible cover art. Man, I hate this cover art. Do I have the? I don't even know if I like that. I don't know why. I should probably switch it over. Um, that is better. Maybe I will switch that over eventually. I always like to keep the original cover art if I can, but I don't like that. This is an alright slasher. I think this is Toby Hooper, you know, who did obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think this is a little overrated. The setting is fantastic. It's such a good setting, but in terms of like a slasher, it's not your prototypical style of 80s slasher. I don't know, it's all right. The setting is cool. There is some good kills and there's some nudity in it, so it has all the elements, I guess. Just it's not. I don't know. I have to revisit this, I guess. I don't have the fondest memories of this, so it's I definitely need a rewatch on this one, but it's okay. Up next, we have Eyes of a Stranger, still from 1981. Again, not your typical 80s slasher. This is more of a horror psychological type of thriller, but the kills are slasher kills, special effects done by Tom Savini. And I like this made it in my underrated video, just because this is a Tom Savini kills type of film, you know. But the film itself is fantastic. It's really good. Very young Jennifer Jason Leigh plays like a blind girl, and because of that, like her backstory is interesting, and there's some really tense moments with her and the killer. This is kind of like a Rear Window, Hitchcock's Rear Window, you know. A neighbor suspects one of her neighbors is a serial killer on the loose and starts investigating him, that kind of thing, and it goes from there. Really good film with Savini kills, so definitely recommend that one. Up next we have Bloody Moon. This is Jess Franco's 80s slasher film. Super violent, some of the best kills around. Super sleazy, tons of nudity. There's like a circular saw kill that is one of the best in the whole genre, worth the price of admission alone. Yeah, like this is like a Spanish. I think again a little bit of a co-production. Um, but yeah, it's Spanish film. It feels like kind of that again, the giallo mix with the slasher, but super sleazy, super violent, super bloody. But yeah, it definitely feels like one of those Italian giallo type of films. Really good, really fun. Um, yeah, like Bloody Moon quite a bit. Up next, we have Bloody Birthday, still in 1981 here. Um, yeah, this is I like this film. This is creepy kids, man. Like these like three kids, and they're all born on the same day, and like because of the moon, some weird thing like that. So because of the way the moon was, or the stars aligned, all three of the kids turned out to be psychopaths, and they get together, they find each other when they're like 10 or 12, and they start killing people. Good concept. One of the best cover arts in the entire genre. This is fantastic. But yeah, there's some fun kills. There's some gunplay, which I don't really like in my 80s slashers. But this film has a lot of nudity, some really good like nude scenes, like very like uber gratuitous. Yeah, so it's good for that. Some fun kills. Like I said, kids are always creepy. You know, you get like the creepy kids. So I like this film. I think this is underrated. This is a really good one, I think. So it's different because it's kids, you know. But I really like that. All right, so up next we have Friday the 13th Part 2. So I have a few versions of this as well. So obviously I have the VHS. This is my older copy. Again, one of those $10 cheapies. And then this one here, again, this is the one I created myself, but this is the version from this set here. So yeah, I'm hoping this gets a 4K release next. I'm pretty sure it's going to. Who knows when? Maybe it'll get announced for the Christmas season, or maybe I don't know, maybe next summer. I don't know, but or maybe whenever the next Friday the 13th is. That's probably when it will get released. But I'm assuming this is going to come on 4K, and I'll pick it up. But this is a cool case. I like this. But yeah, Part 2 is awesome, man. Like this is one of the best ones in the franchise as well. I love Friday the 13th Part 2. Yeah, you know the debut of Jason Voorhees as the killer, you know, Sackhead Jason. We all know about this film, and it's fantastic. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2. Up next we have Graduation Day, another classic from 1981. This year, 81 is just insane. Um, but yeah, this is, you know, a sports themed, you know, a bunch of track athletes getting knocked off one by one. Really cool backstory. Like the plot works pretty well. Some good kills. Linnea Quigley's in this. She has some nude scenes. Like I said, the kills are fun. This is just like a prototypical early 80s slasher. Just for me, it just hits all the right beats, and I just absolutely love it. So yeah, Graduation Day is a classic for me. We got a couple classics coming up here. Up next, we had The Burning. You know, this is, you know, probably the best example of a Friday the 13th ripoff. You know, camp setting, using Tom Savini as a special effects. Yeah, it's, you know, obviously similarities. Same types of nude scenes, similar kills. But it's great. It's just more of the same. If you like the Friday the 13th formula, this is just new cast of characters, new setting, new killer, same formula. But it works really well. I love The Burning. Good cast. Young George Costanza's in this. Was it Holly Hunter? Is that her name? The went on to become a famous actress. Um, doesn't say on it. Does it say on? Yeah, Holly Hunter. Yeah, Holly Hunter, Fisher Stevens, and Jason Alexander, George Costanza. So good cast. This is one of the first Weinstein brother films, Harvey Weinstein. So it's, I guess doesn't matter, but of note, I guess this is one of their first films, Miramax. So good, really good. Love the Burning. Up next we have Happy Birthday to Me, another Canadian film. Um, Again, I really like this one. This one kind of has a giallo feel to it, but it's Canadian. It just has that feel. Really inventive kills, really cool backstory. Like the plot and everything kind of makes sense. Kind of like a mystery going on. You don't know what's going on. It plays out really good. The reveal is fantastic. The ending of this is like the ending scene is really iconic. It's been copied a bunch of times in some other 80s slashers that are coming out here soon. Actually, one we already talked about, Madhouse. So again, I don't know what the release or when they were made, but the endings are crazily similar between this and Madhouse. And there's another film coming up that we'll talk about. It has a similar ending. It's really cool. If you haven't seen Happy Birthday to Me, definitely check it out. Um, it's a good one. It's a classic Canadian slasher. I absolutely love it. All right, next up we have a two-pack. So one of these films is from 1981, which is X-Ray, also known as Hospital Massacre. And then obviously we have Schizoid. What year is Schizoid from? It's 83. Is that right? 1980. No, you know what? I think Schizoid's from 1980. Yeah. So this should have been earlier. So yes, this is 1980. This is 1981. Um, so yeah, these are both pretty good. This film, this is a little weird. Barbie Benton's not my favorite. She has like a really weird nude scene. Whatever. She was Hugh Hefner's girlfriend at the time making this, I think. But it's all right. It's kind of a weird slasher. Schizoid's fun. It's kind of like an American. It's like a giallo. But it's obviously you can tell just by the cover. It's very giallo inspired. But it's good. It has some good twists, some good kills. And they both have their moments. So this is a pretty cool two-pack, I think. I would love to have a separate release for each of them, but this is the best we can get, so not too bad. All right, still in 1981. It just keeps going. We have Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Um, Again, this is another one of those films that is not your typical slash. This is more of a family drama, family horror, psychological horror, but the kills are slasher. Um, and this is a weird film. There's a lot of twisted like incest themes going on, and like a lot of like racism, a lot of like homophobia. There's a lot of like taboo subjects in this film, and it just seemed normal for the time of making it. But you watch it, and it's a little cringy to watch it now. Some of the language used, some of the scenes, but again, it's part of like the horror elements of this, and they do a really good job. Susan Tyrrell plays like the aunt, um, absolutely bonkers. Like what a performance, just absolutely nuts. What's his name? Bo Svensson plays like the homophobic, racist cop, really good. You get a young Bill Paxton in this, who's kind of like just like a minor antagonist. This is good. This is a good film. Definitely a good film. Not like I said, not your typical 80s slasher, but definitely one you need to check out. All right, so continuing 1981, we have Final Exam. This is a slasher that I really like. I really like Final Exam. I don't think it gets enough credit. Some people crap on it because there's the killer is like no motive. He just shows up and starts killing people, which I think is one of its strengths. It's just killing for the sake of killing. Some of the kills are really fun. The characters are good. This kind of has like an Animal House style college setting. There's a lot of like college hijinks, people playing pranks, and there's like the like the John Belushi character in Animal House. He's like a guy in here who's like the wild man going around campus, and this is just a fun college slasher. And it's violent. Some of these kills, like this kill here, it just shows the killer like just killing a couple on top of a car, and you just see him just like stabbing and stabbing and stabbing, just so violent, and it's just yeah, I don't know. I really like Final Exam. I think it's one of the most underrated. It doesn't get enough love in my opinion. This is Scream Factory release. This is a good one. All right, keep going with 81. Up next we have Hell Night. Linda Blair from Exorcist fame. She's a little more grown up, a little more developed than she was in that film, and she shows off her development a little bit in this film. Um, This was okay. I had to watch. This is another one I have to go back and watch. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's kind of a weird. It's kind of like a gothic setting. Like they have to stay overnight at this abandoned. It's like a castle, or it's like a gothic of the gates, the manicured garden. I don't know. It's all right. I don't know. It's a cool concept, and it has a good look. But it's kind of like a ghost. There's like a ghost thing going on. Is it real ghost? Is it fake ghost? It's a whole thing. Um, I don't know. Not one I loved, but yeah, I should probably revisit it. All right, so up next, still in 1981. I think we're getting close to the end of 81. No, there's still quite a few left. This year is insane. Up next, we have Don't Go in the Woods Alone. And I have the Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome, and I also have this VHS version, lo-fi video. Um, Yeah, I guess it's like they took the Blu-ray print from Vinegar Syndrome, I guess, and just put it on VHS. This is 42 of 50 copies. So cool. I'm happy I have this. Pretty cool, man. Anyway, Don't Go in the Woods. I like this film. This is like your typical low budget, terrible acting, but it's fun. It's just one of these films. You have some drinks with some friends, sit down, and you're laughing. You're not scared. You're laughing at some of the lines, some of the kills, some of the. It's just like people show up for no reason other than to get killed, and you never see them again. Not for everybody, but if you're a fan of these silly types of films, I like Don't Go in the Woods. It's fun. It's just one of those really fun types of crappy, so bad it's good slasher. All right. Up next we have Night School. Now this is a what I call like an American giallo, totally American film, made by like a really well-established, skillful director. But it's a giallo. It's filmed like a giallo, like the killer, everything but the killer with like the motorcycle helmet, the black leather, the big bladed weapon. Um, yeah, really, this is a good film. This is like it's a slower. Like I said, it's not your typical slasher, but it's really good for what it is. There's like the theme of this is for whatever reason decapitations. Like almost every person gets decapitated in this, and you don't see a lot of it, but you see like the severed heads, and there's some really good violent moments. Yeah, Night School is good, man. It's definitely a fun film. Yeah, so an American Giallo. All right, so up next we have Nightmare in a Damaged Brain. Sometimes it's called Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. Sometimes it's just called Nightmare. But yeah, this is just a I don't know what this DVD is that I picked up at like a secondhand store. This is good. There is a Blu-ray of this. It's out of print, hard to get. I'd like to get a better version of this because this doesn't look great, to be honest. But this is a violent, yeah, there's this is like grimy, sleazy, um, just uber violent, just I don't know. I like this film just because I'm a fan of these raw, just visceral types of films. Um, yeah, Nightmare in a Damaged Brain. It's good, man. If you like your slashers just like ultra sleazy and ultra just like lots of violence, you're probably gonna like this one. Yeah, so that's a pretty good one. On the other end of the spectrum, I have Madman. Now this isn't a bad film. This is one I just made a video on. I included it in my overrated. um, video. People love this film. Some people don't. Some people agree with me. It was okay. It's like I think I just had too much hype for this. I was seeing it on like top five, top 10 lists of 80 slashes of all time before I had seen it. It just didn't live up to those expectations. It was okay. There's some cool moments. It's shot cool. There's lots of like blues with like the camera and the lighting and the shadow and all that. It looks cool. There's some fun kills. Really weird hot tub sex scene that's like one of the most bizarre. It's almost worth watch it just for that. But yeah, I don't know. Madman's okay. Still in 1981. We just keep going. So up next we have Halloween 2 from 1981, and yeah, this is like the direct sequel to John Carpenter's Halloween. Picks up right where that last film leaves off, and I like this film. I like the empty hospital setting. It's really cool. Um, yeah, you get Jamie Lee Curtis back, you get Donald Pleasant back, you get Michael Myers, you get the cool hospital setting, some really fun kills, a little bit of nudity sprinkled in. Um, you know, uh, like I said, a continued storyline from the first film. I don't know what's not to like. Maybe the reveal that Laurie Strode is um, Michael's sister. Maybe I guess people don't like that about this film. This is where it goes. This is directed by Rick Rosenthal, who went on to direct Halloween Resurrection, which, oof, two different pieces of film, this and that. But I like this. This is one of the best ones. So Halloween 2 is great. 1981. Still in 1981, if you can believe it, The Prowler. Um, yeah, this is a Tom Savini masterclass in special effects. I love The Prowler. Some people say it's really slow. I like the backstory that takes place, post-war 1940s, 1950s, and then it flash forwards to the 80s, and the killer starts killing people again. The kills, the highlight of this is the kills. Tom Savini, this is his best work, I think, in my opinion, in the 80s slasher genre. These kills are just off the chart, gory, just amazing. The camera lingers for like this kill here, like it's like a throat slit, and the camera's just on her for like 30 seconds, just watching the knife rock back and forth in her throat, and you see it open up and the blood spewing underwater, like the pink. It's crazy, amazing kills. The Prowlers, um, it's classic, one of the best in the genre, in my opinion. Still in 1981. Oh, I think is this? Yeah. Up next, we have the last film, I think, from 1981, Just Before Dawn. So yes, this ends a crazy year, 1981. And again, another fantastic film. This is like a nature survival slasher. A group of friends go up in the woods, and deep, deep woods, which is scary itself, and there's killer on the loose, and they have to survive the woods, and they have to survive the killer, and they have to survive each other. Really cool. There's some really good nature scenes. There's like a rope bridge scene, which is really cool. There's like a waterfall scene, which is like a nude scene, and it's pretty filmed pretty cool. Um, the ending, the way that the final girl gets the killer is hilarious. I don't know if it's physically possible, but it's great. I like Just Before Dawn. Not crazy of this cover art. This is Code Red again. Yeah, Code Red. There's better cover art for this, but yeah, not bad. Yeah, this is a good film. Good way to wrap up 1981. So let's go into 1982. So the first film we have is The New York Ripper, which is a great way to start the year. Um, yeah, again, like Maniac, like Nightmares, Nightmare on a Damaged Brain. This is like a super sleazy, grimy slasher. This is Lucio Fulci, so Italian, so it kind of has that giallo feel for sure. And it's also kind of like a police procedural. But it works really well. Of course, the kills are very slasher, so it's that really good hybrid mix between the giallo story and like the slasher kills. Um, yeah, this one has some like sex scenes that are just like really, really mean-spirited and violent. People are getting killed while they're naked, and it's like you see like genitalia, like mutilation to like women's body parts. It's very mean-spirited. So yeah, most controversial horror film ever made. Definitely not for everybody. If you're a little squeamish in your stomach, you don't like seeing um, certain body parts, eyeballs, like Fulci, man, him and his eyeballs. He just loves doing stuff to people's eyeballs. So there's some of that in here. There's like, yeah, like women's genitalia, the top half and the bottom half getting like things done to it with like razor blades and like broken bottles. It's it's out there. So, but yeah, I love it. It's great. It's one of the best. Good way to start 1982. Up next after that, we have The Dorm That Dripped Blood. Um, Again, this is one I like. It's a lower budget type thing. It feels cheaper. There's not a lot of doesn't look super glossy. Doesn't look well made. But you know, it's a cheap little fun school slash in an abandoned school. A group of friends is over like the summer break or like Christmas break or something, and no one's at the school, and they're there to help clean it up or something like that. And there's a killer on the loose and starts killing them one by one. Um, the plot, this has a crazy ending. It's worth it alone, just the way this film ends. It's kind of like you don't see it too often, so really good ending that I really liked. Some fun kills. There's like a power drill. Um, yeah, it's right here, like a power drill kill to the back of the head, which is a really good effect. Definitely the highlight. So there's lots in this film to like. This is also called Pranks, which is a is it on here? Let's see here. Yeah, terrible. I don't like that art. I don't like this art either though. But yeah, terrible name. Dorm the Drip Blood is definitely. It's why I have this art displayed. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, Dorm the Drip Blood, good one. It's I like this. A little underrated. Up next we have Death Valley, which is little Ralphie from A Christmas Story. If you're familiar with A Christmas Story, Little Ralphie. Not your typical slasher, more of a suspenseful thriller, horror film. A killer versus a little boy kind of thing, showdown, which is kind of silly, but it works. I like this film. Some really good like acting performances, like all these actors, with the exception of him, to be honest, he's not great in this. He's kind of cringy for me. But Catherine, what's her name? Catherine Hicks from Child's Play. What's his name? Stephen McHattie from I guess The Tall Man. I don't know. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Seinfeld. He's good as the villain. Um, yeah, this is just a good, solid 80s horror film from Scream Factory. Yeah, that's a good one. Up next, still 1982, we have Death Screams. This is from Arrow Video. Fantastic Blu-ray release. Um, just the packaging alone is fantastic. The film itself, it was okay. I was a little disappointed with this one. But it's not bad. It's just a little dry, a little slow. Not a lot happens, but there is some moments. It has its moments for sure. But the cover art and the title, everything kind of says it. So, but yeah, just the Blu-ray package alone this is a great package. But yeah, the film could be okay. Could be better. All right, next up we have Ghost Dance on VHS. I haven't seen this yet. I got this a while ago. I made a pickup video on this, on unboxing this. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it. I have to watch this and review it. So I don't know. It's one of these. There's a few like Native American slashers. This Scalps, Memorial Valley Massacre. There's a few of these like Native American, yeah, 80s slashers, and so I don't know much about this one. I don't know if it's good or not. We'll have to watch. If anyone wants me to watch and review it, just let me know, and I will. But yeah, 1982 Ghost Dance. And the next film released in 82 is one I also haven't seen yet. Island of Blood. This is also called, was it Who Done It? Yeah, that's what the disc comes with. This is like the cover art. I hate that. I don't like that. I've always known this by the title of Island of Blood, but I've never seen it. This is Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, 1982, so I don't really have much to say. Another one I'll be watching and reviewing at some point. But yeah, Island of Blood. Still in 1982, we have The Forest. This is a Code Red release. Yeah. Um. Yeah, this isn't great. This isn't a great film. It has its funny moments, but yeah, this is like a ghost story, and it's kind of stupid. The more like I don't know, like the kills aren't great. The kills are okay. The setting is great. It's in the forest, obviously, deep in the woods. I like these backwoods slashers. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot of stupid stuff in this, like just the plot with it's like a ghost story slasher, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And there's some like I think there's some cannibalism going on. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of this, but the cover art's fantastic, so I'm glad to have it in my collection. But yeah, not one of the better ones. All right, still in 1982, we have Girls Night Out from Arrow Video. Again, Arrow's awesome. Like this is another fantastic package. It's just a thick case, embossed like slipcover. Just yeah, I love that cover. I love this art. Yeah, Girls Night Out's fun. This is a good film. Scavenger hunt. Um, a lot of Love and Spoonful music played in this one. Just a college setting where there's a killer on the loose, dressed in like a mascot, like a bear mascot with like Freddy Krueger claws. 2 years before Nightmare on Elm Street came out, you have the Freddy Krueger claws on the knived hand. So that's cool. But yeah, creepy ending. The ending in this, like the plot works really well. The backstory, it all works. Yeah, it works perfectly. And I don't know. The ending's creepy. It really has a good creepy ending. I don't want to spoil anything, but it always makes my hair stand up when I watch it. So yeah, really like the ending in this film. But yeah, this is a good one. All right, so 1982. Um, do we have more from here? Yeah, we have a few more from 1982. So, up next we have Friday the 13th Part 3. So I have the VHS. I have the DVD, the lenticular, um, 3D cover there. Comes with the 3D glasses. I have this little set here, the Part 3 and Part 4. And then I have this, which again, this is my own creation, but the disc inside is, from this set. Again, hoping this gets a proper 4K release. I hope it comes with the 3D, like the option for the digital 3D, with like the 3D TV, and also like the anaglyph 3D. So, because I'm trying to track down a 3D TV, and so I can watch these like the actual 3D. But the 3D anaglyph, not good on this. But the version on the Blu-ray um, is good. It looks pretty good. So yeah. So Friday the 13th, Part 3. Yeah, classic. What else can you say about this one? Alright, so that's it for Friday the 13th, Part 3. Still keeping with 1982, we have Pieces. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Pieces, go check it out. This is from Grindhouse Releasing. I don't know if you can get this anymore. This is kind of an older release. But again, just this is one of the best releases in this collection, I think. Little slipcase, side case here. Um, it's like there's so many. That comes with like a soundtrack. There's like um, 42nd Street. There's so many special features. 3 discs, 2 Blu-rays, and a CD. Um, yeah, but besides the packaging, which is awesome, this film is just so fun. It's just over the top, gratuitous nudity, gratuitous violence, silliness. It's like a giallo. It's kind of like a Spanish American co-production again. Very giallo inspired, but the kills are just there's nothing like Pieces. There's no other film that you can compare with Pieces, in my opinion. It's just you can't even explain it. It's just so over the top. Just the chainsaw, people just like taking limbs off of women, like their arms or their heads or their legs. It's crazy, and the plot works well. The story, the big reveal at the end, like I said, it's very giallo, but it's awesome. I love Pieces, so definitely check it out if you've never seen it. A couple more from 1982. Um, Blood Song. Again, another one I've yet to watch. This is starring Frankie Avalon, like the teen idol, whatever, back in like the 50s, 60s with like the beach movies and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I haven't seen it. Just picked this up not too long ago, this summer on vacation. And yeah, I don't really know much about it. So I will be watching and reviewing this one at some point. 2 more for 1982. pretty solid year. Next we have Unhinged. Um, One of my biggest disappointments. I was super hyped for this one because some people, say it's one of their favorite 80s slashes of all time. I had a lot of problems with this. It was just boring, just so much talking, 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 talking. Switch scenes to a different location. More talking, no kills. Um, yeah, I don't know. The ending is awesome. You have to sit through like an hour and 15 minutes of really kind of boring, not much happening for me. But then the ending is really good. It's really chilling, violent. It's creepy. Kind of has I talked about Girls' Night Out has like a creepy ending. This is kind of similar. So if you know how either one of these ends, you know how that one ends. Um, Similar themes. But yeah, this is like it's like a cheaper DVD I picked up on eBay, I think. Yeah, there's some good kills. There is some good kills. There's some good blood, but there's just not enough, and there's just too much talking. The setting's okay, um, but really good ending. So, all right, last one for 1982. We have Alone in the Dark. Again, not your typical 80s slasher. Has slasher kills, but more of like a just a straight up horror drama type of thing, suspense. Fantastic cast. Like the cast in this is crazy. You know, you have obviously Donald Pleasance, you have Jack Palance, you have Martin Landau, Dwight Schultz, who is he where is he on here? He's on the cover. Dwight Schultz is Murdoch from A-Team. And he's really good. He's kind of plays it straight. You know, if you're familiar with the A-Team, he's like all over the place. But he plays it kind of straight a little bit in this one. Some really fun kills, really tense moments. You know, all these people are like escaped from like a mental hospital, like all like Landau, Pleasance, and Palance. They're all like escaped mental patients. So the acting is kind of like they're overacting a little bit at times. But yeah, that's the I love that cover art. Um, yeah, this is Scream Factory. Good release, good film, like just a solid horror film. With slasher kills, really good. So yeah, so that wraps up 1982. 1983, I have eight films. So I don't have a lot from 83. It was kind of a 81, 82. There was a lot of output. 83 kind of slowed down. 84 it picks back up a little bit. But yeah. So the first film in 1983, and you can't do much better than this, is Slumber Party Massacre. One of my favorites of all time. Top five, maybe top three slashers, 80 slashers. I love this film. Everything about it's just iconic. The cover art is awesome. Like the title is awesome. You know, the weapon is just a big, huge power drill. Obviously, symbolizes like a phallic thing. Like, it's great. Tons of nudity, tons of kills, violent kills with this power drill. It's a short movie. The killer, Russ Thorn, he's unmasked. He doesn't talk. He just walks around killing these girls. And it's a little bit of girl power, that all the girls band together at the end. And this was written and directed by two different females, but it's a Roger Corman film, so it has that kind of juxtaposition. Whereas Corman's like, oh, we need lots of blood, we need some boobs, we need some butts. But then you can do what you want. So the women in charge were like, well, we're gonna make these women strong and fight back and be, and it works. It works really well. It's a good balance. Absolutely love the Slumber Party Massacre. One of my favorites. Going from one of my favorites to quite possibly my least favorite 80s slasher. 1983, we have Boarding House. I reviewed this on the channel not too long ago, so if you want to see my thoughts on that, go back and watch the video. Some people like this. It's I don't know, man. This was a mess for me. This was just so weird. Um, I don't know. There's some good nudity in this. The kills are weak, but the plot was just all over the place. It was just like that was my problem. The editing with this film was just like they'd film a scene and it would just like abruptly cut and go to somewhere else, and you're just like, what happened to the people we were watching? Then we'll cut back to them, and they were in a different location, and I don't know. I had a tough time watching this. This was not good for me. I'm glad I have this. This is like Agatha Bleeding Skull. I think I got it from Vinegar Syndrome. It's like one of their partner labels, like Agatha and Bleeding Skull. Um, Good release. Like it looks pretty good. You have like two discs. There's like two or three different versions of the movie on here. There's like the shot on video release. But then it was converted to film to show in theaters. It's I don't know. There's good release, really good release. Lots of features. There's like three different cuts of the film. But yeah, not good. I did not like this. So glad to have it though. All right, 1983. Back and forth to another really good one I liked. House on Sorority Row. Classic 80s slasher. Obviously school sorority house setting. Good plot. I loved like the prank goes wrong. A bunch of girls pull a prank on their house mother in the sorority house. Goes wrong, then they start getting knocked off one by one. They have to figure out the mystery. The backstory is really good. It works really well. Some fun kills, really iconic kills. There's like a toilet kill in here. Doesn't show it. The jester clown at the end, super creepy ending. Again, made my hair stand up. To this set, this is from is this Scorpion? Yeah, Scorpion releasing. I think this is at a print now, but there's this got re-released a couple times, so you can pick this up. Yeah, 2 disc set. Great release. Just a good film. Just solid. Really like House on Sword Hero. It's just one of these ones you think back of. It's just like a classic slasher film. Good acting, good directing. Just everything about it is just works for me. So really liked it. Also, 1983. We have Curtains. Next Canadian slasher film. Again, not your typical 80s slasher. More of a this is like a slasher film for for adults. I feel like the cast is older, like all it's not like teenagers being killed. It's all like adult women. It's more of a classy horror film, but it's a slasher. It's I don't know, it just has a different feel, more of an adult vibe, not for silly teenagers. Um, Very iconic scene. Like the killer wears this like hag mask, and there's like a ice skating scene where the killer has like this sickle, this big sickle blade. You can see it here, chasing a girl down on ice skates. There's like a Burton Cummings song that I love that's playing during this scene. Canadian. It's a super Canadian. Good twists, good story plot, everything. It's just some fun kills. This is just a solid, classy adult slasher film, if that makes sense. Really like Curtains. Now we're going back to one I don't really like, and that is Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Um, yeah, another one I was disappointed with because this is one I grew up seeing this iconic cover all the time as a kid, and for whatever reason, hadn't gotten around to seeing it. And this was just kind of boring, to be honest. It was just like cool setting, but the killer was not great. It's kind of like again, one of these studies into mental illness. The kills weren't great. They were okay. It's just kind of a dry, slow film. I don't know. So I was a little disappointed in Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Not one of my favorites. Then up we get next is Mortuary. Cool release from MVD Rewind Collection. Has like the vintage VHS kind of stickers and whatnot. Be Kind Rewind. Pretty cool release. Again, Bill Paxton. Um, Early, he's good. He's more of a lead character in this. Really good. Yeah, this is a good film. This again, not your typical slasher. This is again more of a like horror thriller, but slasher kills. Um, More about plot. It has what's his name? Husband Christopher George, and his wife is played by what's her name? Linda Day George. Really good. Um, yeah, this is just a good film. This is the one I was talking about when I said Happy Birthday to Me and Madhouse have like a eerily similar ending. So does this. So those two came out like back to back. This is a couple years later, so I feel like they stole some inspiration from those films, how they ended it. But yeah, this is a good film. I liked it. It's some really good acting performances, kind of some creepy stuff going on, some fun kills. So Mortuary is pretty good. I liked it. Not great, but solid film. Two more. Two more from 83, and we'll wrap this video up. We're almost pushing on an hour as it is. So up next we have The Final Terror. Um, decent film, nothing great, nothing stands out, but this is like one of those deep woods. Group of friends go rafting deep in the woods, and there's a killer there, and they start getting killed. The plot's okay. I guess it makes sense. It's just kind of a silly plot. The kills are okay. I don't know, like the star of this show is is the deep woods setting. I like these slashers set in there when because they have to survive the woods and the killer. So not as good of a job as Just Before Dawn, but better than The Forest. So um, yeah, this is okay. Good cast as what's her name, Rachel Ward, who was in Night School. More of a smaller role in this, but yeah, it's okay. All right, so we're gonna end this one. The last film that I have, released in 1983, is one of the biggest and one of the best in the genre. So it's a good way to end this video. So yeah, we have Sleepaway Camp. So yeah, this is the last one I have for this video. Sleepaway Camp, of course, is iconic. Everyone knows this film. It's great. It's kind of a copy of Friday the 13th, at like a sleepaway camp or whatever you want to call it, a bunch of kids. This one captures that setting better than any of them because there's actual kids there. There's counselors there. There's the owners of the camp. There's like the kitchen staff. It feels um they really captures the 80s of like a sleepaway camp. For me, like, 'cause I went to sleepaway camps in the 80s, and this really captured it. So, yeah, I love that about it. And the kills are fun. They're different kills. It's not like your typical practical effects. A lot of them are kind of off screen, but they're like death by like bees, and like people getting like boiled alive with like pots of boiling water. A lot of weird kills, but of course, like the selling point, everyone is the ending. Everyone knows about the ending of this film. Um, and yeah, it's creepy, man. Like this is a disturbing film. Not just the ending. Like if you know about the ending, you know how disturbing it is. But there's lots of disturbing moments besides that. Like talk of pedophilia. There's like there's some like hints of like incestuous things going on. There's just a whole bunch of disturbing. The character Aunt Martha, super just off-putting to me. Just the way she talks, her dress, her delivery. Um, yeah, man, this is a classic. I love the cover art, Sleepaway Camp. So that's gonna do it for this. We're at like 50 some minutes. So yeah, that's part one of my 80s slasher collection from 1980 to 1983. So stay tuned next week. I'll put up part two. So we'll take a look at 1984 through 1989. There won't be as many films. Like there was a lot in like 1980 through 1982. There was a lot of slashers released, and they're all the best ones. So those are the ones that I have. Like 1981, there were so many films. So there was a lot in this video. So we'll have a little less in the next one, even though it's covering a bigger time span. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, until then. All right. See ya.